everyone. Welcome to Textiles and Tea with the Handweavers Guild of America. I'm Kathy Group. I'm your host today. I want to welcome our sponsor today. It's Halcyon. Halcyon's been wonderful about sponsoring Textiles and Tea, and we really do appreciate their support. If you're not familiar with them, go check out their website. Beautiful yarns, all the equipment that you need, and they've been involved in weaving for a while, and they know what they're doing. So check out Halcyon. As always, we'll have questions in the last 15 minutes of the program. If you will put them in the Q&A, I will be able to see them and I'll get to as many as I can. We love your chat though. Keep those coming. Those are great. But if you put a question in there, I don't always see it. We are excited today to have Kyle McKeown Mansfield as our guest. Kyle is a multimedia artist. She's based in Livermore, California. She received her Bachelor of Science in Business Administration from the University of California in Berkeley, where she also studied Japanese, and we're going to talk some about that later. Her earliest loom weaving instruction was a week-long workshop at Mendocino Art Center when she was only 12. Her interest in fiber arts was heightened by her travels to Japan and participation in textile workshops, including Japanese batik and shibori. After she graduated, Kyle began a 40-year career creating colorful contemporary gifts, jewelry, and wall hangings sold through fine art galleries, as well as custom gift lines for notable clients such as Yosemite National Park and the Grateful Dead, among others. In 2023, Kyle's turned to tapestry weaving for a more creative expression, finding it the perfect outlet for her lifelong love of color, textiles, and design. Her tapestries have been included in juried exhibits all over, and we are so excited to have Kyle here today. Hi, Kyle.
Hey.
There you go.
Yes, I'm here.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We are excited you're here. Look at all those looms in the background. Everybody's going to be excited to see those. First of all, what is your favorite tea?
Oh, it's hojicha, which is roasted Japanese green tea. And so I have that every morning and I love it.
Roasted.
Roasted, yes. Just
I've not heard of that.
Subtlety of the flavor. So
where do you get that?
Well, there's a tea shop in San Francisco, Tap Twice Tea, and that's where I get it.
Huh, that's a new one on me. That's interesting. Well, in your intro, I talked some about how you started weaving at 12, but can you expand upon how you got started? How did you end up in a weaving class at 12?
Right. All right. So my parents were artists, so I come from a creative family.
Yeah.
So sit in arts, and we would go to museums, and we would dabble in all kinds of activities, collect art books. But my parents, when I was that age, decided to maybe get more serious about art, and they decided that we would all go to the Mendocino Art Center and take these classes. So my mom was a painter, but then she took ceramics there. My dad was a woodworker and he took jewelry, and my sister and I were in the kids' craft classes. So when we were there, they gave us a tour of the facility, and we went to the ceramics, and we went to the jewelry shop, any workshop, whatever. But when we came to the weaving room and I saw the looms and the beautiful fabrics and the yarns, I was absolutely captivated, and I wanted to learn. That's what I wanted to do. I mean, I could tell I had an immediate connection with it. So Lolly Jacobson, who was the teacher back then, we asked her if there was any chance that I could change out of the kids class and into this adult weaving class, and she was wonderful. And I think she could tell how earnest I was, and so, so she let me in, and so that's how I learned to weave.
Wow.
And, yeah. So I just felt so fortunate, because I didn't, and actually I was 11 at the time. When I thought back about it, I was actually 11. But anyway,
wow.
So, but I could tell. So after that, when we got back home, my dad, because he was a woodworker, he made me 2 looms. He made me a Navajo loom and an Inca loom. So those are back. The Inca loom is up there, and the Navajo is over there. Anyway, so I started weaving. And I also got a spinning wheel and started doing botanical dyes, so all of that during my high school years. And then, just as a side note, I joined a Japanese exchange student program. But anyway, I'll come back to that later. But so that's how I started. And the other pivotal event was when I was in college, and I was a junior. I was a business major. Wasn't really sure what I wanted to do once I got out of school, and so I decided to take a couple more classes at the Mendocino Art Center. And so it was a shibori class that was being taught by Yoshiko Wada, and
Really? Wow.
so I was so lucky to get into that class. I mean, just right place, right time. Amazing. And there was another class, Dora Bothwell was teaching Japanese design theory, it's a theory of light and dark, or positive negative space. So I took those classes, and through a connection from there, I also got into a Japanese batik class about a month after that.
Wow.
Because, and just with the experience of those classes and the skills and the people I met, and I decided to start my business and start making silk scarves and the silk wall pieces. And once graduation rolled around the next year, I decided I was just too passionate about this. This is what I wanted to do. And so I did not interview for a job. And I just said, I'm just going to go for this. And so it was like two different things. It was weaving the textiles and the yarn when I was younger, and then bold designs and color in shapes. So that both of those have influenced me, and both kind of all that information and that those what I learned and the design class helped me just be able to succeed.
Yeah. So let me make sure I got this straight. Now, when you were getting your business administration degrees, you were studying Japanese at the same time, right?
Yes, yes, all 3 years, and I was fluent by that point. So
wow. How smart on your part.
Well, and the reason is because I was part of this Japanese exchange group, and so I had a student come stay with me, and her English was really limited, and so it was kind of a struggle. And then I ended up going to Japan when I was 16, and again, my Japanese wasn't very good, and I felt really bad that I wasn't able to communicate. So I made it my mission to learn to speak Japanese, so that when I went back, that I could converse in Japanese and not force the burden on them to do the communicating. And so by the third time I went to Japan, I was fluent enough that I didn't speak English the whole time.
Really?
But I'm so out of practice now that I don't even claim that I can speak it anymore.
I bet if you went back, it'd come back to you. I bet it would come back to you.
It probably would.
Talk some about being in Japan and how that influenced your art, because I can't imagine it wouldn't, but how did it impact you?
I think one point was that just how everyday objects were beautifully designed there. It was mind-blowing for me. And now we have the internet, and we can see all these little cutesy things and the architecture, but going there, just coming from California, and California is a new state and the buildings aren't that old, and you go to Japan, and there's these gorgeous ancient temples and these beautiful woodwork. And I really love woodwork too. I think influence of my dad, but even everyday objects like a pencil. At home, it was yellow with a pink eraser on it. And I went to Japan, and they were this color with a little green top to it, and some little black stripes and some little dots. And they were just, and then the stationery, and then buttons. The buttons here at home were brown and plain. I went to Japan, and there were intricate little designs that were bright colors and different metallics with them, and so creative. And stationery, it just went on and on. Just the clothing was interesting colors. There's a strong textile tradition in Japan, and I really appreciated seeing the designs and the colors. It just felt so foreign. I mean, I really understand what the word foreign means in that sense, that now you see like, oh, I travel, but there I felt like I traveled to a foreign country, because everything was so different as experiencing at home. So just all of that. And
so did you,
go ahead.
Do you think you made a conscious effort of saying, I want that approach in my work? Or do you think it just kind of seeped in unknowingly?
I think a lot of it seeps in unknowingly, but I do feel that because I was aware, I was aware items were beautiful. I was aware that items had been consciously designed, and that really, I really felt that it everyday objects don't have to be boring and utilitarian and plain. Everything should be beautifully designed.
Mm,
Everything should be. There's no reason not to.
right.
Designs and colors, they bring me joy. And why not spread the joy? More joy is good.
That's right. Well, and also because of the work that you do, because you did jewelry and now you're doing fiber, and historically, and I think the general population views those things as utilitarian. But it's interesting that that's what you took from Japan to apply it to your artwork. And it's anything but boring. Your artwork is amazing. So, yay, Japan. They did a good job.
Right?
We're going to look at one of your pieces here. And one of the things that I loved when I was looking at your work, and I always love energy in work. It just, probably because I'm so hyper, as you all know, as I bounce around when I talk. I love the energy in this work, and you do it with lines and color. When I look at this, my eye travels all over it in a pleasant way. It's not like my eyes are bouncing around. So I'm curious, again, is this something that you said, I want energy in my work, or did it just happen for you?
Oh, I very consciously want to put energy into my pieces.
Uh-huh.
And so when I'm designing, I'm paying attention to where my eye is going. And I want to be able to, and because we're a Western society, our eyes will come into a piece starting at the top left, like so it'll come in. So I'll have this swoop coming down into the center of the piece. And then I'll have these other colors that kind of maybe force your eye down, and then another bright color bringing it back up. And so I definitely am playing with these colors and shapes and trying to encourage the eye to move within the piece. And then on this one, so there's a red angle that goes towards the top. There's a center area with turquoise and some little red lines. I'll come back to that in a second.
Oh, good.
But with this red line that cuts across and goes straight up, I don't want the eye to fall out of the piece if you have a strong line that's going one direction. So what I did is I took the color from that center turquoise area and I integrated it in a little square at the top there, so that your eye, when it gets up there, it recognizes that color and it'll pull it back down to the center of the piece. And then with the little color, the little wiggly lines in the middle, that was a design choice. I was wanting to have it to give a sense of conflict or let's say a sense of conflict. And I was with tapestry because it's hard to do angles. So anyway, the solution to that, rather than having a jagged line, was to do the wrapping on those so that they can kind of just be wiggling and almost vibrating on top of there. So
those are yarn that's wrapped?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to clarify because pictures only do so much. And I thought, now are those beads or is that yarn or what? So
yeah, and it's linen behind there, and it's cotton wrapped around supplemental warps.
Okay. Somebody wants to know what the title of this is.
It's called Flashpoint: Water Insecurity in a Warming Climate.
Oh, well, talk some about the name.
Well, so with this, so I'm in California, and water is always, well, it's in so many places now, but water is a concern. Water security is a concern. And here because of that, we end up with red tides and other algae blooms in our water. So you can kind of see some of that coloring. And it's kind of major, you can see the water flowing through, the idea that there's water going through the piece. We also have an issue with desertification, where it's just drying and the desert is encroaching. So that's kind of the lower left corner. And then we also have subsidence, where because of the aquifer being drained, the valley is dropping. And like sometimes in some areas it drops 12 inches a year.
Really?
Yes. Right. So
gosh, I didn't know that.
That's kind of the angle, matching the land dropping, and that's kind of the general idea there. So that's what I was thinking about when I was weaving it.
Oh,
So.
thank you for sharing that. It just makes me love this piece even more now that I hear what you have to say about it. Thank you for sharing that. Well, these next two works have repetitive designs in them. And there's something soothing about a repetition, at least for me, about repetition. So what was the attraction for you to repeat this design? And even though there's a little difference, they're not exactly alike, but the overall design is repeated. Why that?
Well, I think I'm attracted to that repetition. Just maybe it's playing those little games. One thing is not like the other when you're a kid. So that with this, it's a way to, or a variation on a theme also. So I'll play with one little color system, think, oh well, maybe how will my eye interpret this if I change the colors a little bit, or and just, well, the eye is going to want to go through the piece and compare all three of the main images, because I think instinctually we are kind of trained to pick out the differences. So, and in this, I'm playing with flipping the designs both horizontally and, or well, vertically. I get things backwards. Okay, so you're flipping the design horizontally and then flipping the images vertically as well. So you have to, you can be flipping, going up and down, comparing, and you can be comparing left and right in the piece. So it just, I like how the eye can be held to continue looking at the piece and seeing what's actually there. And then and so that one's Lilac Reflections. And on the other side, that piece is called Undercurrents. And on that one, I'm playing with the idea of maybe ripples. And when you go to a piece, generally the eye will go to the lightest color. And so that would be kind of the gold color at the bottom. And then what I'm doing on kind of in general, not necessarily on every ripple, but I'm taking the color that I'm outlining it with, and that the little dots on the edge are the colors I'm using there, are then put into the center of the design above it. And then that little outlining then goes to the next piece above it. So your eye is kind of going in and out, and then realizing the color is changing and being pulled up. And then I guess the third one from the top, I used sumac in there, and just, so I built it out. So it actually gives some depth to the ripples. And then it just kind of goes up to the top, and then there's just some little lights in the far distance. So,
okay, everybody's asking about size. What are the sizes of these pieces?
These are tiny. Okay, so
are they?
So on the well, all right, the Lilac Reflections is actually on the wall right here. So you can see it's maybe,
okay.
I think that it's probably about 12 by 12, maybe no, 11 by 11, something like that.
Oh, wow, it is small.
And this little one next to that is maybe 8 by 10. The Undercurrents is probably something like 8 by 10.
Okay. Okay.
And
I love how you change the color so subtly that you're looking at it, oh, it's blue, but then it's like, no, wait, at the top, it's a real dark blue, and then it changes. And I love how you do the variations on that. That's beautiful.
A little bit lighter in the center, so it kind of gives more of a feeling that's maybe some glowing there. But again, top and bottom are very very quiet.
Where did you learn your color? I mean, your visual theory, understanding theory, like knowing that they look to the right, left, to the right, and all that? Because you didn't have a formal art degree, right?
Formal art degree.
Did you just pick it up as you go, or?
Pick it up as I go. I think I read books. My parents were, because my parents were artists. And so, and just a quick aside, when we took those classes at the Mendocino Art Center, then within a few years of that, both of my parents became full-time working artists. My dad had been a school teacher, he quit. And so we always talked about design and color and thinking, because we were needing to make a living at it, and like, what are people responding to? And so I'm sure some of that I learned from my dad, from the books that he had read. And anyway, so it was, our family language, I would say, is to discuss color and design. And so
I would love to have dinner at your house. What kind of conversations they would have had?
oh yeah. we,
I
we,
didn't come from an art family, so that would have been cool.
yeah, we had lots of color in the house.
Oh, I bet. I bet.
Orange front door. So people coming to the house knew it was going to be different.
There you go. There you go. You were, I want to kind of step back into another version of your life, if I may say, is that you were a jewelry maker and you did metalsmithing. So, what events caused you to say, okay, I need to do fiber, I need to switch? Or where was it an event? What
Well,
happened?
because I'd started out doing fiber, and then I did silk jewelry, and I was using they were button covers. So I had rounds and triangles and hexagons, and I have a little hand press to take my painted silk and wrap that around the buttons, and then glue an earring on the back. And then from there, I started doing the metal work that I could combine with the silk. And I think there'll be some pictures on that. And that just kind of it kept evolving. And then I did more of the metal work. Anyway, so it creatively, you want to keep going and coming up with something new. And I think I did the metal work for a very long time, but in I think around 20 or 2020 or 2021, I just got to the point where I no longer felt creatively challenged with it.
Huh.
And I was just done. I was ready to stop. So I just stopped. And I got a little sketchbook and I started drawing. And I started drawing in color. So anyway, so I started just doing these little designs and just whatever, just kind of going through different, anyway, so that felt good to be doing something different and to be designing in color and just having these little studies where I could concentrate. And it was just for fun. It wasn't because I had to make something that somebody else would want to buy or that would meet some sort of expectation or be some kind of product. It was just for fun. So, so anyway, this was part of my process to come back to fiber. And I might as well just kind of, if I can keep going here, I'll just.
Please go. Go.
All right. So I started doing this in 2021, and then I was in around New Year's of 2023, about 2.5 years ago. I was talking to my girls about how I used to love weaving, and I missed that, and because I just gotten involved with the business, and I was just really concentrating on that. And so I said, where's my old weaving books? I went and I got my old weaving, my Shirley
held, yes.
Right? Yeah. So I pulled this out and I was showing them, and there were all these tapestries in here. And in addition, all kinds of fiber arts in there. But a lot of it was in black and white. There were a few color plates.
Yeah.
So I wonder what these people are doing now. So pull out your phone and you search.
Did you really? What a great idea.
And I looked up Sheila Hicks and Magdalena Abacanovich. And anyways, like, oh, I was just blown away by the current tapestry community and what they were doing. And I realized it was the missing link for me, because these tapestry, I mean, these drawings I'm doing are tapestries. They translate so well into tapestry, and it combined my love of fiber, the textile, what I just love working with textiles, with the color and design that I was able to do with the silk paintings.
Uh-huh.
And so I love tapestry. Absolutely love it. So anyway, so that's how I ended up coming back to tapestry. I mean, to fiber arts after this long window of kind of fiber arts. And I was using iridescent papers. And anyway, so here I am.
Oh, what a great journey. What a great journey. Well, I love it. Somebody's asking about that book. It's Surely Held, Held. And I love it that that was my textbook in college when I was studying weaving. Yeah,
Oh,
my very first weaving book was Shirley
well,
Held's book. Yeah, yeah. And you're
yeah,
right, it was all black and white.
right? And then because color is so important for text.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so anyway,
Well, I'm impressed with the idea of you look them back up. I would have never thought of that, but that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Well, you talk some about drawing in there, and this next image is a design you did for your jewelry. And I was curious, is it the same process for tapestry? Do you design the same way, or do you find you have to do something different?
well, it is different. So when I was doing the metalwork, I was always using a fountain pen, and I was always doing these little sketches. And you
Uh-huh.
have, and because I was sandwiching the silk in between two pieces of metal, um, I the designs, all the metalwork had to be connected. So I couldn't have any little floating dots, for example. I couldn't have any designs that were too thin. So it definitely was a different way of. And was there a picture with the jewelry? Is that, I don't know. And I think there's a piece of the jewelry in the internet. I mean, and an ornament there somewhere. Yes. Okay. So in the sketchbook there is the design of the little palm tree design that I have in the ornament.
Oh, right. It was in that drawing. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. And in the background of that, it kind of looks like fabric, but it is actually an iridescent film that I was using back there. So still kind of
Oh,
the same in kind of the same in idea as the silk piece on the piece on the left, that is hand painted silk that is sandwiched between two pieces of metal. And there's a little bit of padding there to give it a little bit of three-dimensional feeling. But again, all the metal had to be connected. And then with the silk, because I needed to have just general gradations of color so that it wouldn't maybe clash with the metal, that it still had to be pleasing in the way it intersected yeah, how they went together. And I
well,
used,
I have to tell everybody, bad news. She's not doing this anymore.
yeah,
I mean, they were beautiful, beautiful pieces. But I'm excited that you're doing tapestry, but it's the world's loss that you're not doing the jewelry still too. Those are amazing. And I love that you combined the silk with the metal. What a nice contrast. Oh,
right.
these are gorgeous.
Thank you.
But
Thank
I
you.
could see how you like, especially the one on the right, you could easily make that into a tapestry. That would be a
Right.
perfect tapestry. Yeah. Yeah. Um, and then you did a lot of the silk dyeing that you talked about. And even though they're completely different art forms, and we're going to see a couple of them here, yeah, these are both dyed silk, right? But again, they do share similarities with I mean, I could see these being tapestries.
Right. No, I definitely can see that. And I've considered, I mean, there's so many designs I want to weave now, and part of me thinks, oh, well, should I do that piece on the left? It's a tapestry, but you know what? It's okay. I have lots to weave. And then on the silk scarves on the left, again, there was gradations and uh, that was from the silk batik class, where you use wax to cover large areas. So you can put a color down, put a large area of wax, or do some little gradations on it, let it dry, put wax on it, come back to the next area, and then you can do the shading along those edges, and build up the design that way. Anyway, so I mean, where was I going with this? Just about designing.
Well, just the similarities in design between your silk and the weaving and how they could be one and the same, right?
Because
Yeah.
with tapestry, you can use hatching that will, so you can have the colors be lighter. The piece on the left, I had the colors be lighter in the middle. So kind of to give the effect that maybe that ball is kind of glowing. So, and you can certainly achieve those kind of effects with tapestry. So, yeah.
And the colors are amazing, just beautiful.
I love color so much. I like to play with color. I like to put out my yarn and kind of put them in little piles and try and come up with a new color combination. And I'm so enthusiastic about it. I try to describe this to people, how how much it means or how energized I am by it. And I decided it's like, imagine that all these little tubes of yarn are puppies, and you just want to play with the puppies. And, and when they're little like that, it's all puppies are cute. So all
I will never look at my yarn the same way again. I love that. Oh my gosh, yes. Hello, puppies.
right? And then my dog just walked in. He wasn't supposed to even be here. You know, say puppies, and he shows up.
Right, right. My dog's like, what? What? Are you talking to me? Anyway, I love the little dots, because we're going to talk some about that in this next piece, because you do this subtle, and again, I'm not a tapestry weaver, but I just thought it was so nice that you do these little dots of color. Now, the one on the right is a detail of the one on the left, because I wanted to show it a little bit. They're very subtle, but they give, it keeps it from being a very flat surface, even though you have a gradation of color. Those little pops of that orange really keep it moving and keep it from being flat. Was that the idea behind that, or talk some about that?
Right, so absolutely. So my idea is on this piece, I feel the pink colors in the middle are, I call it Magnolia Everlasting, and it symbolizes joy. And so, and kind of the bloom and the sort of the life and energy. And as if there's just so much that it's almost flying off of it. So there's little energy dots flying out on the edges there. And then the other reason, just for visually, is that by having those dots out there, they create movement within the piece, because then your eye will start floating up to the top, and the colors change. I have the colors change and become a little bit lighter towards the top. So, and then again, so they can, and then they go back to there's a little bit in the middle of the top. So it can kind of bring your eye back and keep your eye moving within the piece. So yes, so very intentional.
Oh, I love those. Those are wonderful. And you're right. My eye just keeps going around and around and around looking for those dots. That's wonderful. Um, I'm curious about, and I should ask this of every artist, because I'm always curious what they would say. But when you're working on a piece, especially something that you build on, like tapestry, how do you know to stop? How do you know when you're done?
I'm going to say, well, with tapestry, it does require a fair amount of planning, well, at least on my part, that because I was going to say, well, when I run out of warp, so I have to stop. But beyond that, so I'll have what's called a cartoon, which is the design that you have behind your tapestry that you use as a guide. And I just use a black and white sketch, the basic. So yeah, for a second here. Well, I'll come back to that in a second. So I'll have that as a guide, but as I'm working along, I'm paying attention to what my eye is doing and how I'm feeling about the colors. And maybe I'll lay in some colors and I'll just kind of sit there, and they're not doing anything, or it's not adding anything. It's like, okay, well, how do I energize this? How do I make this start to come alive? And so with some of the pieces, I am using a range of colors between shapes. So there's this transition. So maybe if I'll start out with a gold color, I think one of them, maybe this piece, well, let me do this thing. This piece here, that was one of the slides. And there's kind of a gold frame around a violet area. And the colors in between there, I was going from the gold to a green to turquoise to a blue, no, I'm sorry, magenta, and then to the purple. And so this kind of gives just a very subtle gradation along those edges, and makes it seem like the colors are glowing, as if there's the yellow glow is shining onto the violet. And so that's what you're seeing in those little color changes along those edges. So, and some other areas in there too, by putting them, I carefully choose my colors, and I think about how they're being perceived and what energy I'm feeling. So if it's flat and I don't feel anything, it's not right. And so the other thing I do is I have embroidery floss, and I have all these different colors, the DMC floss colors.
Yeah.
And I'm working on a piece, and I feel like, okay, I think I need a purple over here or something. And I'll pick up my little color and I'll hold it up and no, that's too light. And then I'll maybe get one that's a little bluer. It's like, oh yes, okay, that's a good.
Oh, that's brilliant.
A great way of playing with things and seeing what you feel, because you'll put something up there, or there's sometimes you'll put it what color. I was like, oh, that's horrible, and I'll just physically I'll jump back because it's
What was I thinking?
right, exactly. Oh no, no, no. But anyway, so I have lots of these little trays of color, and it's really helpful.
That's a brilliant idea.
And then I'll say one more thing that
Please.
I take my yarn, the yarns I have, and I make these these are my color cards. Some yarn companies will have color cards, or
Yeah.
a little piece like this, but this I have, so it's long enough so that I can hold it up on a piece and say, is this the color I need here? And, or if I were to twist these two together, how does that look up there? So they're so helpful. So I care so much about color and picking the right color, and it's all very deliberate, and that's how I determine
Now,
I'm responding to.
those color cards, are those the colors you have in studio?
Yes, so I bought I have a lot of single spools of a lot of colors.
Well, that's kind of a great idea. I mean, why would I have a sample of a color I don't have, and I hold the sample and go, that's perfect, but I don't have it.
Right?
So, yeah.
And the other thing is that colors are influenced by the other colors by the colors they're next to. And I'll say, oh, I want this this yellow or this blue. Well, a lot of times it'll be with an orange color, for example. I think they seem to shift around a lot. So I'll have maybe these gold colors, and I'll say, okay, this is the yarn I want. So then I go looking for it in all my bins of colors, and it'll be next to something else. And maybe it'll look more pink, or maybe it'll look more green. And so then I have to say, okay, I know it's in here somewhere, and I'm holding these color charts, little color cards, and trying to figure, oh, here it is. And then I can't tell you how often I have to do that, because those colors are tricky and they will hide.
They're like chameleons. They change their color.
Truly, they truly are.
They do.
Yep.
Wow. Well, I don't know about you all, but I've learned a lot today.
Oh.
Do you teach?
No.
You should. You should. You have great ideas.
Thanks. Well, I might teach kids someday. How about that?
I think you should come to Convergence and teach us all your great tricks for using color. That's amazing. I love that. Well, I was curious, but the reason why I asked that is because with tapestry, I would think it'd be easier to take color out and put it back in than with like a floor loom. And I'm probably going to get a lot of argument on that. But, and I ever wondered if you found that you were taking stuff out and putting stuff back in too much. But with your system, you don't have to.
I do take areas out, but usually I haven't gone too far. I can put it in,
okay.
Sit back. If it's not feeling 100%, if I'm not really feeling it, maybe I'll step away for a day or something. I'll come back and say, you know what, if I took that out, left it in or took it out, it would make no difference. It's not doing anything. So if it's just kind of like whatever, like I just randomly picked a color and stuck it in there. I had an idea of what I was trying to do. For example, if trying to make it something look like there's a highlight on it, but if it's flat, then I take it out and try something different. That'll be more fun. I'll have a better reaction to. What was I going to say? I think I was going to say. Oh, well, did I talk about this one?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to say that's the little piece that you earlier with it. So that's just how my sketches would be.
Wow, that's pretty complete. That sketch.
So you get the idea. It's the basic shapes, right?
Right.
But then I add all the little colors using the floss or whatnot. So
Mandy is so good. Thank you, Mandy. So this is the image completed, but I love it because that sketch was pretty complete. All right. And then somebody's asking that as a matter of fact, but you use a cartoon also.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's for the basic shape.
All right.
The main forms.
Now it's all hand drawn, or do you use a computer? Or
The designs are all hand drawn, but I will take my sketch and blow it up to the size because this is so tiny.
yes.
So, if I want to like, make it, blow it up 3 times, 4 times, something like that.
Okay.
And then I'll trace that design onto vellum. And then I'll take
Okay.
graph paper and put the graph paper on the back of the vellum. So I have a grid showing
Oh, okay.
that will kind of keep me on track. So
Oh, I've never seen the grid paper done. That's a great idea.
you can get grid paper and you just tape it to the back of it.
Yeah.
So, but I like the vellum is stronger and doesn't rip.
Right.
See,
I know all you tapestry weavers are rolling your eyes going, Kathy, everybody does that. Well, I'm not a tapestry weaver, so I don't know. So,
that's okay.
um, well, one thing I was curious about when I first started reading your information, I saw you had business administration degree. I thought, what a great, and it's kind of an odd combination, but what a great combination also is that if you want to be an artist and sell, you got to know business. So,
Yeah.
do you think, two questions, did it help you? And then the second question is, how do you, when you run a business, how do you balance that? I mean, I've heard some artists say, I do way too much business. I don't get to do enough creativity. How do you find that balance?
Well, so okay, I'll answer your first question.
Okay.
Did it help? And I would say it definitely gave me a good foundation. Uh,
Uh-huh.
it's running your own business and especially a small business because they were not teaching entrepreneurial classes,
Um,
right? So it was, I think they were imagining that we would go get a corporate job and
yeah.
um, anyway,
Yeah.
be approaching it in a big picture way.
IBMs. Right.
Exactly. So, but with my parents starting their business when I was in high school, right? So I had that background seeing, all the positives and negatives and the challenges. So with both of those, I was able to take, I think just it all helped. And I was definitely approaching it as a business because I needed to make a living. So when I was designing, I had to think about what people wanted to buy and what
Mhm.
to sell and what price points and how much time I could spend on a piece.
Oh, wow.
Right. And so because it had to meet a certain, I mean, I would love to put 100 hours into a little item this big, but nobody would buy that. That's very pretty, but that's not going to pay the bills, right? So that really was how I had to think about my designing for all those years. I had more fun with the wall pieces, and Halloween costumes over the years for my dog. But other than that, it that was the main thrust of the main area that I had to pay attention to. So making sure I could survive, and then just for the balance. So that has been really hard over the years, I have to admit.
I
So
would imagine.
it's it can be all encompassing because the art practice is it's fun, it's playful, it's you want to be enjoying it. But if you have this heavy burden on your shoulders, I have deadlines, I have bills to pay, it can be a challenge. And so the point is to set aside, I think the try and set aside time. You say, this is my time. I'm going to draw and I'm going to weave and make that a priority. And I really am trying to do that now. I haven't been good over the years. But like I said, I'm really trying now. It's really important to me. I love it so much, and I feel like I've paid my dues in terms of
Yeah.
hours and um, it's
Yeah.
my time. And I'm weaving for myself. So I'm not weaving to sell it. I'm not weaving for any other reason than just because I love it and weaving brings me joy.
Do you see all these hearts and hand claps?
Oh yeah. Right. So I'm sure
You,
somebody
you're talking to other people's hearts. I can hear. I can see that.
I'm sure. I'm
We're
sure. I
all
mean,
saying the same thing. It's our time. Yes.
right? We all struggle with that. So
Yeah.
we would all love to spend all of our time, or a large amount of time, just being creative and
Yeah.
following the ideas. And
Yeah.
we're creative. We're a creative group. We love problem solving. We love coming up with new ideas. And so, yes, that would be great if we could all do that. But again, the balance.
Well, one more question I have for you is I'm curious who or what inspires you? Like some people say nature or, this, that, and the other. What inspires you or who?
Right. So certainly nature. I think I have to say I'm based in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, and the tapestry community here is amazing. They are such talented artists. I am awed by the work they do, and they're big. They're gorgeous, big, gorgeous pieces. And I we have some pieces in his show right now, and I was kidding. So my piece is 11 by 13. I said my piece is the appetizer. Then you get into the stunning, large, stunning pieces.
You're a small expressions girl. That's what that is.
Yeah, yes, yes, I am. Oh.
Well, what's next for you?
Well, I do want to try weaving a bigger piece.
There you go.
and
You're ready to move to the main course.
Exactly. And just see, I've just started one, and I'm realizing it's different. There's such a, because the spaces are larger, and I have to really think about how to break up those spaces or make them interesting. And I want to kind of, for example, I want to use the kind of the shibori designs of wood or water, or those little patterns. I've always been fascinated by that. So this is where I can actually start doing that. I think the little piece up there, that one has some of my attempt at kind of doing a shibori design in the bottom.
Okay.
It looks like water. So anyway, so that, and then I also am interested in natural dyes. I think natural dyes have just a different feel to the colors, and I would just like to expand the range and play around with those. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Well, we've got questions. Let's see how many we can get to today. Okay. A lot of the, oh, this was how big, and you said that. Thank you so much for telling us that. Oh, Kristen said that she saw this piece at the Tapestry Weavers West exhibit. Loved it. I'm wondering, how did you wrap the lines? Is the yarn wrapped around weft yarn? Oh, it must be the one we talked about with the angles.
Yes.
Yeah, was that weft or did you insert extra
I
yarn?
used warp. I used black warp.
I mean, warp.
Warp, so a cotton seam. So I just wrapped it around one of the warps. So I just took the black warp and went through, and then just held it, and then just wrapped the embroidery floss around it.
Okay.
And kind of knotted it off at the top, the half hitch or whatever, and then poked it through. And then on the back side of the piece, I worked those warp ends back into the tapestry to secure it.
So it's an additional warp.
Yes, it's a supplemental warp.
Oh, okay. Okay. Because I was going to say, it didn't go back in where it came out. Oh, no. What a great idea. I am just learning so much today.
You're not restricted to the grid. So with that,
yeah,
you can have interesting little additions.
See, you need to teach. You need to teach that. Okay, so did you, about the cartoon, you talked about using a cartoon.
Then I'll just about a cartoon, and I will do a little color drawing as a guide, so that I'm looking, so I know where my colors generate.
Right.
So like I might keep this next to me, for example, if I'm
right.
A black and white cartoon.
So the loom behind you to your right, other side, is that what you do your tapestries on, that one?
This is my first, this one here is my first Merrick's loom, and that was a little one, and so right now I'm using it for sampling.
Okay.
Colors, and I think, and then because you can wrap the warp around, and so I have some things on the back that when I was doing some experimenting for the other pieces.
Oh yeah, you can use both sides.
So you just kind of move it to the back and keep going, keep playing with the materials. I started using some linen, so I wanted to kind of see how that behaved.
But you have a floor loom. Is that what you do your tapestry on?
No.
You use this one.
So this one is new. This one, this tapestry loom here is new for me, and I haven't actually used it yet. But I have taken a Murex heddle, heddle bar, and I've is that what it's called? Anyway, where you put the heddle, they're holding the heddles. Anyway,
Okay.
I've adapted that on there so that I'll be able to use a power treadle, which is a foot pedal, to move the sheds on that. So
Wow.
that's how that's going to work. But I'm getting ready to warp that one. I have a little bit larger piece that I want to do on that. So
So what have you made your like 11 by 11 pieces on?
so that's probably there's another Murex
Oh, there it is.
over there. I probably did it on that one. So yeah.
All right. And there's the puppies on the shelves.
Yes.
There's the puppies. What kind of yarn do you use on your tapestries?
So
That's Kristen. Thank you, Kristen.
So I've been using wool, and then majority wool, and then the cotton floss for the accents. But as time has gone by here, I've started using so that the flashpoint piece was the first time I used linen. That was that turquoise in the middle. I just like the luminosity of that, the linen in there. And so I've gotten some more linens, and I'm starting to use that in some bundles. So with the wool, the cotton, and the linen, and some cotton. So I'm learning about all these yarns and seeing how they behave and the texture that they give, because I love texture too. So just where certain colors will be, the linen, for example, might be a little bit more luminous, and so that within the bundles there's kind of this little sparkly highlighting kind of going on. So yeah.
Kristen wants to know what EPI do you normally use?
I have settled at 10 EPI.
Okay.
I started out as 8, and then that wasn't quite fine enough for me, and then I maybe tried to do some 12, but then that seemed too tight somehow. So sticking with 10 till further.
Okay. April wants to know, how do you finish your ends? Do you use 4 selvage technique or what?
I tried to do 4 selvage. Scratched and burned on that one. So I don't know. I'm going to go back to that. But I think, let's see if I, down here. So so how do I do it? So I have 2 rows of sumac along the bottom of my piece. I don't know if I can catch the light there enough so that I can make and there's 3 picks, so that I can fold it over as a square edge, and then I add the Velcro along the edge. So that I look up here.
Does the Velcro go away across?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. This one doesn't.
Do you have to put something like heavy cardboard or wood across the top to keep it from bending?
Well, so I did make this little back.
Oh, you did? Okay.
This here that I made.
Okay.
Well, you could hear the Velcro.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's Velcro on there.
Okay. Yeah. Because that was one of the questions. Diane wanted to know, how do you mount your pieces? So thank you. You answered the question right there. You may have said this when you were talking about the warp, but I'm going to ask you again. Is there a specific size yarn you use for weft? I'm sorry, for the weft.
For the weft, so all right. So for the weft, I started keeping track of what the sort of the weight of the yarn would be. So I assigned, it was kind of arbitrary, but I was assigned to assign a weight to it. So say maybe this Australian tapestry workshop, these became, I forget what the math was. I think it was this, anyway, whatever, the yards per inch, or yards per pound, and then dividing that into 8,000. Well, anyway, so this becomes a 2.3 weight for me. And these are, I think these are, the embroidery floss is a 4 or or something like that. So I'd have all these different weights. And so then I would add up the weights of these so that I'd be around 12. I wanted to come up the numbers to add up to around 12 so that I knew I consistent, because I'm using all these different yarns, and if they get too far out of whack, some areas are going to be too thin and others might be kind of bulky,
Right.
lumpy. So that's how I've been approaching that.
Thank you, Christine. That was a great question. Sounds like math.
Yes.
Liz Adams says, will you please revisit the idea of teaching color selection? You got a cheering section now. Yay.
Thank you so much. Oh, I'll just say that just see if you have a physical reaction to the colors. Put colors together and pay attention to how you're feeling or what you're feeling. So for me, colors very much have, there's a memory. Colors bring memories for me.
Yeah.
Right. And so I'll look at some colors. Oh, that was my baby blanket blue, or this coral color was the color of my mother's bathing suit when I was a kid, or just all these funny little things. But when I get new colors, I'm looking at them and I'm almost drawing on those memories, pulling those up, like, oh, I remember that was the color of that tree at whatever. So
Kristen wants to know, where were you in Japan?
Oh, so I spent the majority of my time on Sado Island, which was the 5th largest island in Japan. It was in the Sea of Japan. So if you go straight north from Tokyo, Niigata-ken, and then we had to take a 4-hour boat ride to this island. My high school history teacher became friends with an English teacher at a school on that island, and they started this exchange group.
Oh, okay.
The American students would go there, and the next year the Japanese students would come here, and it was an amazing program. But then beyond that, then I did travel around. I went down to Kyoto. I went to I can't remember. I can't even remember. Anyway, I did travel all over. Okay. The main island, at least, and I had the opportunity to go to a textile workshop, or anyway, where I got to see that they're making summer kimonos and painting them and using the Japanese rice paste resist, and that was all fascinating. Anyway, so.
See all the things you can teach. Well, I hate to say this, but we have to stop for today. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much for being on here, Kyle. This has been great. I thank you so much.
Thank you. I mean, you have wonderful questions and really made me think, and I really, really appreciate it.
We had some great questions today. Thank you all so much with your questions. We really do appreciate that. I encourage you all to go see Kyle's website, and it's Kyle's Designs with an S. We missed that. And /tapestries. Go to her she's got all of her artwork on there, but if you want to see the tapestries, you've got to click on tapestries. There's like a bar to the left. And down toward the bottom, I think it's where it is. You tap on tapestry and you'll see all of her beautiful, beautiful works. I encourage you all to go there. Thank you so much, Kyle, for being here. It was wonderful. And I'm going to go back and look at some more of your work. It's inspiring. We also want to thank our sponsor, Halcyon, for being our sponsor today. If you're looking for more yarn, this is a place to go. They've got some great yarn if you want to do tapestry or anything else. We appreciate Halcyon being our sponsor. If you would like to sponsor an episode of Textiles and Tea, or your guild, or a group of people that want to come together, your business, please go to our website at weavespindye.org, and you can choose a date that you would like to be the sponsor, and you can sign up right there online, or you can talk to somebody in the office if you have questions. We've got Convergence coming up. I'm so excited about Convergence this summer. It's going to be awesome. We got great classes, and there's going to be more on the website in the next couple of days. So check back and see. We've got more information coming up all the time. We've got classes. We've got some incredible tours. I know y'all are sick of me talking about the tours, but they're pretty cool. We've got all of our exhibits, the runway fashion show, and the towel exchange will come back. We'll have thread talks, and of course, the vendor hall, and where you can go and test drive a loom or actually touch and see yarn. I don't know about you all, but I love that part of it. And I live in a city that doesn't have a weaving store. So I look forward to convergence when I can actually see yarn. It's exciting. It's all in one building. Everybody's concerned about the heat. You never have to go outside unless you want to. And well, everything is in one building, the conventions, the vendor hall, as well as the classes. Buy your CVP now. You want to get that first before you try to buy classes. And then you can register later on this year. So check it out. Like I said, the schedule will be up by tomorrow and have the descriptions of the classes by the end of the week. So check that out. We want to thank everybody who has supported HGA either through joining or donating. Your donations help us do shows like Textiles and Tea, Spinning and Weaving Week, all the different programs that we have. But it also allows us to think about what do we want to do next, because we're here to support the fiber arts. What do we need to do next? Where can we go to support all of our weavers, spinners, and dyers? So thank you all for joining and donating. If you want to, you can go on live at weavespindye.org. You can join or donate or both right there online. So we appreciate everybody doing that. If you've missed any episodes, you can watch them again. They'll be on Facebook for 30 days. That's a change. Or you can go to the HGA YouTube page and they're there forever. And I think almost all of them are up. If not, they will be soon. I think last week we were all caught up. And you might want to subscribe, because if you do, you'll get a notice when a new one's been uploaded. So if you've missed it or you want to watch it again, or you want to watch it with a friend, please do so. We're excited that next week we're going to have Joyce Robart on. So I hope you all have a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us today. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Happy tea.